Yeah, I actually got a comment yesterday, chat. Someone really said, "Hey Don, you only not even hey Don. It's like you only caught 90 pips because you had a smaller balance today." I'm like, that is wild, bro. That is wild. That is a crazy thing to say. Okay, so let's get started, chat. So the monthly time frame, you have 5 days left and 9 hours. All right, so that's a lot of time. As you have like basically a week left in the monthly candle, and I mean, you know, it looks like the monthly will likely close bullish unless something crazy happens to a point where you flip bearish, but I highly doubt it. There's a 95% chance that you won't do that and close like bearish, you know. If it does, I'll be very surprised. And on the bright side, you know, it will mean that we will have volume for next month. But preferably I'll rather take obviously I'll rather us continue to push up, you know, towards all-time highs. Now with the monthly here, right, you guys are gonna notice that, like, you know, we're closing at 5 days, and there's a major resistance here on price, right around here, and there's your support right around here. This is the range that you are currently in on price. So in this level here, in this area, in this I'll say pink zone, this is the range you're in, and it looks like you may or may not close above. I don't know what's gonna happen yet. You have 5 days left, and this is just the monthly outlook. I would say if you do close above the range, then there's a very high chance that you will see price continue to drive up to retest the next high, which I think to the left is like 2070, because that's kind of what you have here. You're looking at like these wicks here, because you can't really use anything else because you don't have much data, right? So you can just say for the most part, you should be able to tap into like this area on average, 2050. If you do close above the weekly or the monthly resistance, right? Because the next one's candle will likely come up and create new high on price. So that's just the monthly outlook. Overall, we're bullish, obviously. Let's drop down to a smaller time frame, right? Because the monthly outlook doesn't really affect our 10 pip trade today that we're gonna look to grab on price. Now looking down at the weekly we mentioned yesterday when it was bearish that any given point this week you could flip bullish, right? There's a very high chance you could flip bullish and continue to drive. Why? Because you're breaking back into this range here. This is my support on price right around here, and then this is my resistance right around here. This is the range that you're in right now, right? Because look, you're breaking into this range, right? So if you're breaking into this range, that means that's the range we're in. So we're breaking into the range. You have a high chance to fill the range, right? Because you're breaking above the range. So you're looking to the left. You're looking at like roughly, like, I'll say like minimum here, minimum 2000 should get tapped this week with the weekly candle, right? If you were to drive up, I think I mentioned yesterday that even if you were to drive up or drive down, doesn't matter. There's like a very, very, very high chance that price is going to flip bullish, and I did that yesterday, right? So now that I flipped bullish, it starts to reject a little bit. The question now becomes, will price close bearish back into the range in about a day and 9 hours, or will price close above respecting 1960 to continue to drive up? Will it close doji to continue to drive up, right? Like, what's gonna happen here on price? So those are the questions that I'm kind of like asking myself on price here, because I don't know what's gonna happen, right? But as we drop down to a small time from like the daily and whatnot, you'll get more data out of price, and you can probably use that to your advantage. So that's what we're about to do. But with the weekly outlook, yeah, like overall, you're looking to mirror this, you're looking to mirror this, you're looking to mirror all those pushes back into the range as you close above, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Dropping down to daily is pretty bullish today. The one thing about the daily is that you didn't close above the range though, right? So you guys can take a look here. Off rep, I'm pretty sure all you guys are able to tell probably. But there's like this resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, resistance here on price, right? So this is a pretty strong resistance that price is holding off of, which is fine, right? It's fine. It's just that you may not have a clear direction today, right? Whereas if you were to close, my bad, if you were to close above the range like this, then yeah, there's a very high chance you are to drive up, right? If you were to close above the range like this, you can probably pop up towards the next resistance here, which is going to be like in this next pink zone here, right around here, or yeah, pink zone here, right, which is right around here at like 2020. But you haven't done that yet, right? So in about 8 hours and 41 minutes here to the left, if you guys take a look at the time, you have a closure, which is the daily closure, right? So if you close above, then yeah, tomorrow you can look to drive up. Today it still has an opportunity to drive up. It's still a bullish close. That's on the bright side. It's not a bearish close. I think yesterday had a bearish close that like respected resistance here, right? You guys can kind of see right around here, right? Bearish close and then another bearish close while respecting this resistance. So same shit today. We're in the same boat as yesterday. We're still respecting resistance. The difference now though is that you have wicks to the left that shows us a rejection. Yesterday's POV was more so of a wick fill, because yesterday closed bearish and you were expecting price to drive down for a wick fill. But since you closed bullish today, that wick fill is no longer valid. Not that it's no longer valid, but chances of you coming down is a lot lower, right? So this goes off more as a rejection now, right? You're rejecting some type of support here. I'll say if this is your level, I'll say anywhere like right here would be what you're basing it off of, right? If that's what you're rejecting, then great. Any given point, price could drive up to retest the highs, which it did. It did come up to retest the highs, right? So now the question more so is like, okay, you tap your decision zone. What's going to happen now? Are you going to continue to drive? Are you going to reject and pull back more back into the ranges, right? But the range you're in right now, at least you're in a more controllable range. Whereas before you weren't. Before today's close, you weren't, because this is your resistance and your next support was like down here. So yeah, it was a much wider range, right? But now that you have that you close bullish, this is your range from here to here. So it's a much more controllable range. It's a range that isn't quite big, so you have lots of opportunities. Well, once you break it, you'll have lots of opportunities, right? But while you're in the range, it might be a little trickier, especially for those that are new to trading, just because we're in a range and there's no like real direction just yet. I mean, we're overall bullish, right? But like in terms of like this week and this day, it might be a little trickier for you to read it. But yeah, on the bright side, remember that you do have news today, chat. From 8 to 10, you have like a bunch of folders. So again, after 10:30, you will get a strong direction on price, and I'm hoping that it will close bullish above the range, because that'll lead to tomorrow's day close, and tomorrow will be a great day, especially if you close bullish today, and tomorrow creates a bottom wick to drive up. But let's worry about today real quick. So yeah, we understand that any given point, again, since you're respecting this resistance, you could reject, right? There's a very high chance that you could reject any given point, especially for a bottom wick. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if this were to happen, right? Don't be surprised as well, because again, you're respecting resistance still. This daily candle never closed above, so it indicates that you're respecting that area, and price doesn't have any confirmation to continue driving up just yet. Now dropping down to the 4, the 4 is pretty bullish here, right? If you guys take a look at the 4, we're bullish, but I'll say you have 38 minutes left, and that becomes a problem, because 38 minutes left, is that enough time for us to flip bullish and drive up? I don't know, right? I was looking for buys last night within these ranges, because I think it was like within this range, because you were like, you kind of create a bottom wick here, and obviously like, you know, there's a high chance you were going to drive up because that's your liquidity wick, right? But you drove up. I didn't take anything because it was like a little late in the day. It was like 1 a.m. at that point, and I wanted to go to bed. But we did close above here, right? So that's a good sign. Close above most recent. I don't know if you close right here above 1992 though. Let me just take a look. Yeah, you see, you close right at it. So that becomes a problem, because you close above most recent, which is great. You know, it's an indication that, yeah, you could continue to drive further up, right? But did you close above 1992, which is your most recent resistance? No. And the most recent resistance is what matters, right? Like, you can trade the ranges from 87 to 892, right? I'm pretty sure some of you guys did that last night, but after that, it's kind of like, what happens now? What happens once you tap 92? Is he going to continue to drive? I don't know. But now that we're closing bearish likely in 37 minutes, unless news comes out and flips price, any given point, what can happen is this. You can literally come back into the range. I'll say especially if you close below here. Because if you can close below this support to the left here, right? Then yeah, there's a very high chance you will drop down the next 4-hour candle, right? Which is going to be below 1982-ish. So you close below 1982 in this bearish candle in about 37 minutes here, the next candle could literally just do this and back into the range we go, right? And I guess I will say that will be a pretty big move in terms of the rest of the week's directional bias. It will shift things quite a bit, but I would prefer we can close bullish, obviously, so that we continue to drive up with the bias. It will be easier, more pleasant day for us to trade, right? But until then, we'll see what happens here. We're at in about 7 minutes of news. But yeah, that's the 4-hour candle. So again, like, there's really no bias yet. I'm gonna really like, I think once news comes out at 8:30, that's when I'll really like mark up and I'll find my levels. But for now, I'll just have like temporary, just major support and resistance levels. I won't have any potential buy levels or potential sell levels just yet. But Sorry, chat, I'm speaking fast. I'm trying to speak through this. I have 5 minutes left. There's your resistance up here at 1992. Let me see actually real quick what I want to use. 30. Yeah, let's use the 30 today. 30 or 15 would be good. But yeah, there's a resistance up here at 1996, right? So if that's your resistance on price, right around there, which is, I guess you can see that's fine. If this is your resistance, right? Where is your support? I'll say your support would be, you know what, you actually move your resistance down to here because you have a pretty nice, like decent range here from 92 to 96. That's like a 4-pip range you can probably grab. That's not bad if you were to close above. Pretty doable. Let's go look for that. And then your support on price, I'll say would be, I wouldn't say here because actually, you know what, you are respecting that support level, but your major zone would be like here, I'll say. I think for now we can probably put this here. Let me just see left real quick. We'll adjust after news. It doesn't really matter what happens now, really. Like, doesn't really matter where our levels are, because after news, when numbers come out and you have like more of a direction on price, it'll make more sense because you have more data, right? But right now, like, I know for a fact we're not gonna be able to grab anything just by the way things look right now. At least just yet. Yeah, so this is your range right now. So your next support is like somewhere, what did I say again? 74. Yeah, 74, maybe even like 72-ish. Like, that's your next range, which is pretty wild. It's a pretty decent range you have on price. I'll put this here. Yeah, this is like your major zone. So like, look, this is the range you're in basically, from 72 to 93. This is one massive range right now. There's no direction within this range, at least just yet, right? Once price comes out for news, if price for some reason does this today, because anything can happen during news, right? But if price decides to close below here, or even close bear, it doesn't matter. But if you come out, create a high at 96, 93, and then you flip bearish, man, we can just take sells down, because then we can just take sells from 984 straight down towards 72, 74-ish again, right? If that were to happen, right? But we don't know what's gonna happen yet, right? So that's why right now I'm just like, I'm not gonna mark up anything crazy. But if we do close bearish below and you end up breaking the highs at 96, 93 with news, and then price flips bearish during late NY session, like NYC open 930, great, we can probably grab sells from 84 down towards 72, and that's a pretty nice range you can probably grab. You can grab the flip, or you can grab the breakout lows, or if we close below the range here in about 3 minutes, then what you could grab is this instead, because you're expecting a top wick, right? So you can grab the I bet you can grab this probably. You can grab the second entry instead, which is the second wick entry, which would be within these ranges, right? So like, that's definitely doable. But let's see how price comes out first in about 3 minutes here, and then we'll figure out the rest later. Okay, chat? But that's what I got going on for price today. Again, the 4 kind of could flip any given point, so that's why I want to see a top wick, right? Because if you were to create a top wick on a 1 hour time frame, it'll be around 92, 96. At that point, the 4 hour flips. If the 4 hour flips bullish, it has no reason to reflip bearish if it wanted to drive up, right? So if it were to come back down to break its own low again, you're gonna come down probably to fill the range, because that's the range you're breaking back into. Especially if you only have like 15 minutes left after that news comes out for the 4 hour candle close, right? So, and you have a top wick for this candle too. So any given point that could happen, and that's why I'm waiting for a top wick and not taking sells off rip, because you need liquidity to come down here, and liquidity will be grabbed within this range. It won't be grabbed here. All right, chat. So that's what I got going on here. So we're gonna wait for news there, and then we're gonna see what's up. After news should be pretty interesting. All right. I'll give it like 3 minutes. What's your entry, brother? We just did analysis, and there's no entry until for a while. No entry until maybe like another 10 minutes probably until news comes out. All right. Let's see what happens here, man. If and obviously price doesn't have to grab liquidity as well. Like it can just drive down from here. For all I know, if price does do that, then it does that. You know what I mean? I can't really do much if it does do that. But the idea is that, like, you know, you prefer if we can just tap into these ranges for a 4-hour top wick. Like that's the main idea behind price here. Because same shit, right? 4-hour top wick, liquidity wick, it's the same area here. It's just a different way of viewing it, right? Or price can just drive up with a 4-hour flip. Like this can just happen in 30 minutes or in the next 30-minute candle. But this can just happen for all I know. You have some pretty heavy folders there. It will be a bit trickier today though. I'll say until like 10, 30, 11 should be a bit easier for you to read. Because you will have so much more data afterwards. You'll have a main catalyst driving price afterwards for the day. All right, chat. Let's see. In about 30 seconds here. Whoever is trading news, good luck to you, man. Good luck, soldier. I hope all goes well. I'm gonna watch it from the sideline. You go first. You have quite a bit of followers here, chat. So you close below, that's cool. So let's see what this 4-hour does with the 1 hour now. Will we get a top wake or will we just drive for the range? I would say though, like if you don't have liquidity to drive, like a liquidity with to drive down, it's fair to say that price has room to drive down towards here, right? You can probably drive down towards areas here, but I don't know if you have enough room to drive back down towards here if this is the liquidity wick you have. Funny how right when I did that, price just reject on the dot, right? So like no indicators, just pure form resistance. But yeah, like I don't know if you had enough liquidity to drive down towards 72 with that top wick, but you will have it to drive down towards here. So now let's see what happens, because this is key now. Price can just range here, price can just hover here. I don't know what's gonna happen, but once you create that top wick and you re-rate the lows, we know for a fact that we can probably grab sells down, right? So we're just waiting for confirmations here, waiting for direction for price. Look at that 1 hour. 1 hour close, respect and support, right? So any given point, like this thing could just rip back up to full range at 1993, which isn't bad. We can probably be able to grab something there if we're expecting buys back up on the 4-hour candle. It's just that, because I'm assuming even if you were to drive down, say you're gonna have to see 92 at least one more time here, or if not 92, you know, you can probably see like 88. So let's see how this 5 closes here, because if we can close above like 87, you have a nice advantage point from 87 to 89 or 88 here. You can probably grab something there, but you got to see a strong bullish closure like this on the 5 for that to happen. But then you can grab this. You can grab the pull from here to here. That won't be bad. I may consider that if that happens. If that happens, not when or will it happen. Keyword. Key part of your vocabulary when you're trading. Never say must or will. Always say if. What did Juju do? It's popping up. Back into the range. Cam, I know you caught this buy, man. Don't lie to me. I know for a fact there's that you caught this from here to here. Or about to catch from here to here. It's interesting here because like the 1 hour close respecting, right, but the 30 close below. So it's like, which one is gonna follow?